we don't teach the legs. So I think it's a huge mistake across the country. I cannot believe we don't teach jumping on the serve. Again, the serve is an airborne shot. The tennis technique in general at large uh, has become more and more techniques have become more and more airborne. The serve is it used to be you had to keep your feet on the ground when you serve. The serve is completely load and explode now, airborne, flying, and you can teach that to young kids really easily. I've done we've done a podcast on this. We can maybe link to it, or you can search through the archives for it. We've done a show on this where one of the easy things you can teach a young kid. It's not difficult at all, and they can learn this with good success. Is to just learn how to bend their knees and leave the ground. And that's one of the first things I'll teach any young kid who comes to me, learn how to serve. Learn how to use your legs, buddy. You bend your knees and you learn to jump. And then I teach them how to land gracefully and with balance. And that's a wonderful thing you can teach anyone. You can teach adults that too. But anyone who wants to learn how to serve. And then the magical thing there is you can take that young kid and you can try to develop their power position and their racket drop, and you can try to coordinate the timing of the racket drop and the acceleration phase with the legs, and you can try to get that sequence better, because as Rick Macy says, and as other analysts have said, I've been saying it for a long time now, is we have a big problem all across the country where we have players who will use their legs with the wrong timing or sequencing with the arm and the racket drop. So basically, most players are dropping the racket way too early, because of when they're young, they're taught to keep the racket there on their shoulder. Most players have a premature racket drop and acceleration, and then the legs come too late. So if you teach jumping early, you can actually start to solve. You can start to preemptively fix that issue that we know is a big problem for kids as they get older. You can start to work on the sequencing of the leg drive, try to get the legs firing and the legs driving the back scratch rather than the back stretch triggering the legs. You can start to get the legs to the explosion of the legs to trigger the back scratch and to help the acceleration phase of the arm. You can get that sequencing right at a young age, and that's like incredible if you can do that at a young age. And I think that's where we should be focusing on for young kids, not just parking the racket week after week and working on half motions. We should try to get the full motions going. Obviously, you have to sometimes segment the teaching and use some progressions, but I'm saying in a limited way. And don't let kids get too much muscle memory where they're getting used to parking the racket and slowing down the racket and stopping the racket in the back stretch. And teach kids to use their legs on the serve, because that's where you can start to get at the sequencing of the arm movement and the legs. That's a huge part of developing a good serve, the rhythm of the arm and compared, in relationship to what the legs are doing. And if you don't teach the legs for the first few years, I mean, you're missing out on a huge window of teaching opportunity there where you can get the sequencing right.